This meeting is being recorded.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Whispers Racing Podcast. It is the Creswick Stakes Day. As you can see, Matty, welcome back.
Thank you, Worm. Good to be back, mate.
I kept the pineapple nice and warm for you, looked after it for a week for once. I held my own.
So we're on a roll, 2 from 2.
Yeah, it's rare areas for the podcast. It's as one door closes, another one opens for us.
All the TUE Islanders were very thankful.
Might as well kick things off here with Nature Strip. Seriously, how bloody good was it? It absolutely pissed in.
The only way they were going to beat it was if there was a jockeyless horse. Thankfully, there was, but still beat it.
Yeah, no, it was good to see. I guess through COVID, we never got to see something like that. And thank you for Chris Waller for taking him over and showing those Poms how to win a race.
Fingers crossed we could do it again on Saturday night. We've got a few.
Yeah, bloody oath. 26 runners in that one, and then I might be having a little sneaky bet in it as well.
Ooh, good. Can't wait to see what that's going to be.
Stay tuned. Last week, I was flying solo and I had more scratching than winners. So let's kick things off with the negative with the multi. I think everyone can guess. We got 3 legs again. Bloody Tycooners couldn't even run a bloody place. Far out. But we found Visionary, which was the pineapple. And the 2 tips in Brisbane went like an absolute busted. But the pineapple won. And I think there's a lesson that you can take out of it, especially these unlucky runners, and a lot of people do it. I get sucked in time to time again. Just because they're unlucky doesn't mean they're going to win next start, and that's why the bookies drive Mercedes and we keep driving Mitsubishi Magnus. But yeah, what can you do? You put it behind you. So Pineapple League last week, Visionary handled the Hevel beautifully. They won by a small margin. I reckon it could have won by more. On the 7-day backup now, so it'll be interesting to see how it goes under harder company now. Buying shares in. You got anything for us, Matty?
No, nothing buying shares this week. I think there were a few that maybe ran their grand final last week, so we'll leave a few of those alone. And we'll look forward to this week. I think there might be a few this time next week that we will be putting in the portfolio if they run up to expectations. Yeah,
definitely. I'm going to put one in, and I think we can keep following Chief Altoni, which ran second to Visionary. Was given the lead speed a huge margin on that corner just due to the poor barrier. 8 up the ground and only just missed. I think if they raise the bar, get the horse on the minimum weight, he definitely can be winning. So that's Chief Altoni. Keep an eye on it. If it's a heavy track, it's even better. Track stats. We're going to Flemington today, for Saturday, guys. Rail out 12 metres. Track should play fair as always. Be wary. I reckon it might play a touch leaderish, but you can probably win from anywhere. It's definitely, as I like to say, watch and act. Trial trackers this week. Last week we had the scratching. So keep an eye on that horse, as wherever it lobs, I'll be keen to get involved. I'll probably put it up on socials when it lobs. But this week we go to race 8, number 8, Tuvalu. Had 1 jump out since its narrow defeat last start. Went well in that 1 jump out at Mortlake and looked to move beautifully over the 800 metres. Won its jump out by a nice margin. Yes, the opposition weren't that good, but at $8, you'd be silly not to include this in your quaddie. That is race 8, number 8, Tuvalu. Matty, race 1. You want to kick things off?
Yeah, mate, kicking things off at HQ, race 1. Have you got the odds there for us?
I most certainly do. I'm actually prepared this time. Number 4, Pesto is favourite at your 320. Number 7, Sarah Knight, $6. Number 1, Port Guillaume. We'll butcher that again. It's $6. Number 2, Don't Doubt Dory, $6.50. Prince Ziggy, number 5, is at $7.50 and $10 plus the rest.
Perfect. Well, a couple of observations that I had here. First one was there's a few horses backing up. There's Hair of the Thorn and Don't Doubt Dory. Now, Don't Doubt Dory, 4th run in 5 weeks. So interesting campaign for it. I know that it was one that you tipped a few weeks ago. So interesting to see that it's backing up again. The other one was just in terms of the tempo in this race. Really worried that there's not going to be much speed. A lot of these do like to fall out of the gates and just find a spot. Prince Ziggy, I think it might be the one that does lead. It'll probably get a soft lead. Don't Doubt Dory will probably sit on its outside, but realistically, I don't see a whole lot of tempo in this race, which is probably one to keep an eye on as we do go through this. Worm, as you mentioned, Port Guillaume, which is what I'll go with. It's one that we haven't seen the best of in Australia. It's won a Group 2 in France over this distance. It'll be fitter from its first start at the 2,000 metres, and it's also had a couple of trials over plus 2,500 metres. So, look, I think it'll be good to go, but it's a horse that you're going to need to take on trust, as we haven't seen the best of it in Australia. So one to keep an eye on. And obviously the top weight, 58 kilos. Don't Doubt Dory at 56 and the rest of these at 53. So clear disadvantage. But obviously one over the distance, second up, plus also 2 trials, plus 2,500 metres. I think we're going to see a little bit of improvement from it. Now, the 2 that I landed on, and I'll be playing 2 horses in this race, Worm, is going to be Accountability. Now, it's the one in the field who's capable of running benchmark, where none of these other horses have actually done that before across this 2,500 metres. It has struggled, struggled across this preparation, but feel like getting out to 25,000 or 2,500, it'll be definitely fitter and should be getting a decent run. It'll be coming from gate number 8. As I said, there won't be too much speed, so I feel like it'll be able to get a sit in front of a lot of these and probably sitting quite close, potentially in the top 4, top 5. So from there, knowing that it's going to be a slow tempo, I feel like it's going to be around the mark and ready to have that, I guess, acceleration that it's going to need on the turn. So at the $13, $14 mark, I think Accountability should definitely be a consideration. Well, the one I've landed on, though, is Pesto. Now, it's going to fall out of the gate, as we've seen in its last 2 starts. The tempo, as I mentioned, is going to be interesting. It's going to need to make ground a lot earlier than it has in its last 2 starts over the 2,500 metres, where in one of those, it was a winner across in the benchmark 84 and a second in the benchmark 100. This isn't any harder than either of those 2 races. So I can't see this horse missing a top 3, and it should definitely be in the finish. The one caveat to that is if it doesn't make ground early enough, it might leave this a little too late. But Pesto at that 323.50, I think is a bet within this race. Well, what were your thoughts?
Yep, totally agree with Pesto. Really like it on the minimum of 53. Yeah, it ticks every box, and you definitely brought up a good point about the pace in this race. Is it going to be slow? I predict it's going to be with T.O. Nugent with Prince Ziggy. I was really impressed with its replays without doing any data or any figures with it. Just going off its replays, It pissed in at Cranbourne, and the second horse, I think it is, yep, Red Song. He came out. He went really well at Sandown on Saturday. He got beaten a fair way, but I think he ran third or fourth, beaten six something lengths too far back. So he might be the one at $8. But I agree with you with Pesto. I'll definitely be making that a bet, and then be having a real soft saver on Prince Ziggy.
Nice, good to see we're seeing that quite similar.
Yeah, definitely. When we align, we know what happens, punters.
That's it. Good way to start the day.
Oh, bloody oath. And before midday, too. Race 3 here. I'm going to preview the 2-year-olds over 14.20. The odds coming up. We got the favourite here, Anfina, number 8 at $3.60. Number 1, Atlantis Tycoon, $5.50. Number 9, Charming Die, $5.50. Number 4, Fairy Spirit, $9 and $10 plus the rest. Very, very even bunch of 2-year-olds. This no real superstar in the making. So I'm happy to be with number 8 here, Alfina. We were on this last start and thought it should have won with a bit of luck. But what the biggest thing for me is out of that race was the winner, Bronson. And if you remember 7 days ago, it ran third in the JJ Atkins last week. Ran good time too. So I think that's the A1 form we can look in for this race. As I've said previously, that Warrnambool race first start was very strong in my eyes. And I just think it was a strong couple of races it's been in. And this is probably a touch easier. We could be sitting 3 wide, no cover from the barrier, but we also could be 3 wide with cover. It's a bit sticky where we land with Linda. I don't think she wants to be boxed in like she was last time. Will be interesting to see how the market plays in this race, considering there isn't a standout in this race and no one has really run good time on some good tracks. The clear danger here is number 9, Charming Die, has been inside standard time on its 2 runs. And the most recent one at Maui was huge, I thought, considering it sat off the pace near the rear and still won on a track that you need to be nearest to the rail. Definitely looking for 1400 now, but 1100 last start, now up to 1420. Not an ideal prep for me. We'll be giving the leader a fair start if they run along, but watch this horse late because he will be steaming home. Number 1, Atlantis Tycoon, was a nice win on debut, coming from last, can sit a lot closer from the good barrier this time and can win with the right run in transit. But I am happy to be with number 8 here, Alfina. Maddie.
I like it, Worm. Linda on board, I think that's definitely a positive. So, yeah, don't mind it. What was the one that you said would be coming home strongly?
Number 9, Charming Die.
Charming Die. Yep, okay. Keep an eye on that one. So do you see this one having much pace at all in the race?
I do see it a little bit because there's a lot of horses that are going to go into 1400 for the first time. It's almost all of them. And I just see a few of them might be just a few bit keen in transit. If they go too slow, they pull their heads off and they've already run their race. So I see them going a nice, even tempo.
Okay. Good to take note of.
Yeah, definitely. And by that time, we might be able to find. Oh no, we won't be. I was going to say a pattern, but race 2 is a 1,000-meter race, so we definitely won't be seeing a pattern. All right, race 5, 1,200 meters, 3-year-olds. It is the Creswick Stakes. Previous winner was Nature Strip, so it's always a good launching pad, this race, for the spring. The odds, we got Star Patrol favourite at $2.40. Passive Aggressive at $2.70. Carasu, $6. Number 5, Passero, $13. Number 6, I Am Me, $15 and $17 plus the rest. As I said earlier, what a race for June and off-peak racing. I think this is an absolute humdinger of a race for off-peak. So I'm really keen here, and it's on number 1, Star Patrol. He's won by 14 lengths in the total of his 3 starts, and all 3 have been impressive. When watching last start, I wasn't as impressed as I first thought, as I thought the horse might have been cooked, just the way the one just didn't win by much. But when I kept watching the replay, it told me it was a 1100-meter race. Wasn't ideal for this horse because I think its last 100 meters is starting to get away from him. So I think the 1200 meters is going to suit it a lot better. Yeah, now at the 1200 meters should suit. Last time down the straight, it won by 7 lengths. I feel it will be camped behind the leaders in winning verse and passive aggressive. We'll say see you later at the 200-meter mark and win by 2+ lengths. This horse is a Group 1 horse next prep. I'd like to see him in the Rupert Clark on the minimum, 1400 metres. But back to this race, I'm really keen on Star Patrol. Number 8 here, Passive Aggressive. Yes, it was one of our pineapples 2 weeks ago. I have no knocks on the horse. I can see it rolling Star Patrol if it doesn't turn up. It's got to improve again, and it's all in its first prep. I just feel like Passive Aggressive. Yeah, you can get a better price, I reckon. 270 is touch poison. And considering it was $3 in an easier field last start. So 270, if you do like it, I've got no knocks on it, but do wait. I reckon you're going to get a better price come race time. And another special mention here, I'll give to number 9 here, Gossatino. Gains a star, considering its only win has been at Picnic Maidens. Currently a rating 46. No knock on the trainer owners for running it, but surely someone needs to tap them on the shoulder and say, not today, try something easier. But that's my rant done. I'm really keen on number 1 here, Star Patrol here. Matty, any thoughts on any other runner than Gossantino, please?
Mate, I'm glad you did pick that up. It's always interesting, as you said. It's a very good off-season race, and as you scroll down the page, seeing a rating 46 is always quite interesting. Look, my question was going to be, and you did touch on it, just between Star Patrol and Passive Aggressive, which we tipped a couple of weeks ago as a pineapple, and it beat Dragonstone. What do you see as the difference between those two within this race?
I just think Star Patrol has a real good turn of foot. Passive Aggressive, I just saw him last start. It took him a while to get away from those, even though he sort of was under a nice grip. He didn't really put him away real quick. He just took a while to get there. I think maybe he might be a better horse over further, just my opinion. But Star Patrol, when he won by 7 and won last start, he just has that sharp turn and gets away with him pretty quick and then just holds them. Yeah, people are saying he's up 5 kilos on last start. That doesn't bother me at all. McDonald will be looking after this quite. He's number 1 bannered horse, so he'll be looking after him quite well. He'll be getting the extra little feed and he'll be getting the extra little carrot and pat each day. So, yeah, I think he's a Group 1 horse. A special mention here to number 5, Passero. It's interesting it's popped up here, considering it ran in the CS Hayes and finished second to Pinstripe and then only beaten 4 lengths in the Australian Guineas. Interesting it's popped up here. Don't know what it's going to do with its prep. Really liked his jump out, but he's one I want to follow at another time. But yeah, that's about how I see it.
Nice, mate. Nothing further to add. I think you've summed that up very nicely.
All right, we'll move to Around the Grounds. Matty, you've got a couple in Sydney, I believe.
Yeah, mate. We'll go up north, up to Sydney. We're going to start off in race 7. Now, there's one in here that I do like, which is Skyman. It'll be from gate 2, and I feel like it'll be sitting a lot closer than it did last start. It looks well suited. Surf Dance is going to be the one that's going to be on tempo. It'll be in front at, let's say, the 300-meter mark. Skyman's going to have every opportunity as long as it gets a clear run to run past it. So Skyman, race 7 in Sydney, I think is very well suited to that race. we'll stay up in Sydney, and we're going to go to race 9. Another one that we tipped a few weeks ago, Purring Away. First start winner. First start in Australia. Win 2 weeks ago was extremely convincing. Now, I definitely would prefer to be taken at the 650 like we did 2 weeks ago, not so much the 320, 350 that's been on offer at the moment. Gate 4, it's going to get a very similar run. The two that I don't mind within this race outside of Purring Away, Bella Rouge, I think it'll be well suited here. And one at a price, Joviality. I don't think it's ran at its best last start, so it's going to be another one. At odds, I'll definitely be having a smaller play at, but the main play within this race will be, again, Purring Away, that I think will be extremely competitive.
Beautiful. I've got 2 around the grounds here. I'm keen to play tomorrow at Geelong. Please don't at me at the price here by the time you watch this. But race 4 at Geelong, number 6, Winner's Bet, has had 2 recent jump outs against some good horses and has handled himself really good. Off its jump outs, it looks like it's a city grade horse. Preble is on, so it's a good sign, but he does have a contract with this stable to ride their horses. But if this horse brings its jump out and handles the heavy track, then he will be winning. Currently $1.90, a touch short, but its jump outs are telling me to get involved. So that's Geelong, race 4, number 6, Winner's Bet, having its first start. And the other one that I'm going to have, and it keeps sucking me in, and I'm keen to have a little play here at Royal Ascot on Artorias. Now, bear with me. This might be a stupid way to think about it, but at $10, I reckon this might be a good play. I heard a recent interview during the week with the stable, and they are telling us they believe the horse goes to sleep in the barriers when it was in Melbourne. So that's why he stepped slowly. So they have requested and been granted that they can be loaded last, and as soon as he's loaded, they're going to jump the barriers. So if that works, then $10 is overs. He beat Home Affairs in the Newmarket quite easily. Yes, he's now up in weight, but weight and sprint races aren't a huge factor in my opinion. We're recording, they've just released the field. There's 26 other runners in it. So I think there'll be plenty of gaps, I reckon. But yeah, I just think $10 is quite stupid. This horse has super talent. We know how good he can be if he jumps. At $10, I'm happy to find out. I'm not knocking Home Affairs. Yes, he beat Nature Strip in the Lightning, but Nature Strip missed the kick, got run off the field. Nature Strip should have beaten him. So would we be getting that price if he did that? I don't think so.
What price is Home Affairs?
I reckon he's $3, $2.
Okay. And did Artorias also request an alarm clock?
Yep, there'll be an alarm clock with Jamie Spencer just to give him
Very
a zing.
good. So no falling asleep in the barriers.
No, so if I don't mind finding out at $10, and especially at that time of night.
definitely an interest.
All right, multi-time. I'm only going to add one in this week. I'm going to go Star Patrol to win. Matty, what are you putting in?
We own Pesto the place now. Look, confident that it'll win, but I'm exceptionally confident it's going to be running top 3 at $1.55. So we'll pop it in at $1.55. Skyman the place, roughly about the same $1.60 I think it was, and Boston to get us to a game 7 tomorrow.
Wow, Boston game 7. Okay, well, if it goes to game 7, you know there's a podcast coming out, peoples.
Giddy up.
And if you listen to the podcast, we're sitting quite nicely because someone recommended 4-2 Golden State. Someone recommended Wiggins at 40s as MVP. And someone recommended Curry to win the MVP. So we're sitting in some really nice results in there if people followed us in. About time something goes our way.
Mate, last one. The Baggers any chance?
I reckon you're a chance.
Come on, Baggers.
All right, Pineapple of the Week. Matty, I'm going to hand it back to you because you never lost it.
Perfect. Let's make this 3 out of 3. Worm, in you we trust. We are staying with Star Patrol. As we mentioned, a really good off-season race. Looking forward to this one. It's been an explosive horse, and I believe it'll continue its sensational form. So Star Patrol will be the pineapple this week.
Beautiful. In Brett Preble, we trust this week.
Come on, Brett. You gave him a bake about 2 months ago, and since then he has improved significantly.
That is true. Anyone that gets a bake on our podcast, they do improve. Look at Craig Williams now.
Oh, flying. No
Flying,
more
even
trips
though-
to the Ukraine. Sorry, Craig.
Ooh. All right, we'll end it there before we get in trouble. Thank you for listening, guys. Hope you fill your pockets up. More importantly, we hope we've filled your pockets up. Again, we'll speak to you next week for off-peak racing in Melbourne and around Australia. All the best, Matty.
Cheers, Worm. Good luck.
Yep, same to you, mate. And we'll always finish on this beautiful quote from this beautiful man from wherever he came from.
I'm not a good person, but it just goes to show that good things do happen to bad people. So anyone out there who's up against the wall, fucking stick to it. Every cent you got, your rent, your electricity bill, if you're going to buy your missus a ring, don't fucking do it. Keep punting. Keep fucking punting.